The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Elena Rodriguez entered, her soft footsteps echoing against the crystalline walls. Around the circular amphitheater, representatives from 12 species observed her with expressions ranging from polite curiosity to barely concealed contempt. "Ah, the human delegation has arrived," announced Zektar, the Krillian Prime Minister, his 4 arms gesturing dismissively. His exoskeleton gleamed under the artificial lights, each segment reinforced with biometallic plating that could deflect plasma bolts. "We were just discussing the proposed mining rights for Kepler 442b. Elena took her designated seat, noting how the chair seemed almost comically oversized for her frame. The other delegates towered above her, the Krillians with their armored carapaces, the Velnari with their crystalline bones visible beneath translucent skin, the massive Gorvak whose hide could withstand atmospheric re-entry. The planet's core. Deposits are substantial, continued Zektar, but the indigenous life forms present challenges, specifically the Kethamori Warbeasts. Perhaps this venture requires species with more robust physiologies." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Ambassador Thexana of the Velnari leaned forward, her voice carrying the harmonic undertones of her people. "No offense intended, Ambassador Rodriguez, but humans are rather delicate. Your bones break easily, your skin tears, you require atmospheric suits for most environments. Surely more durable species would be better suited for such dangerous work." Elena maintained her composure, though she felt the familiar sting of their casual dismissal. For 3 years, since humanity's first contact, this had been the constant refrain. Too weak, too fragile, too soft. The galaxy saw humans as curious anomalies, intelligent enough to be interesting, but too physically limited to be truly useful. "Keth Mori," growled Brutus of the Gorvak, his voice like grinding stone. "Stand 4 meters tall. Their claws can rend steel. Their hide deflects energy weapons. Even we approach them with caution and heavy armament." "Perhaps," Elena said quietly, "we should observe one of these creatures before making final determinations about the mining operation." The suggestion drew looks of surprise. Zektar's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "Very well. We have a contained specimen in the lower levels. Consider it an educational opportunity." 20 minutes later, the delegation stood before a massive containment cell deep within the station's bowels. Behind the reinforced transparency, a Kethmori paced restlessly. The creature was magnificent in its lethality, scales like black, iron, eyes that burned with predatory intelligence, claws that left furrows in the metal flooring. Its breath misted in the cooler air, and every movement spoke of coiled violence. "Magnificent, isn't it?" Zektar said, his voice carrying genuine respect for the beast. "This one was captured after it destroyed an entire Velnari mining complex. Took a full military squadron to subdue it." Elena stepped closer to the barrier, studying the creature. The Kethamori noticed her approach and stopped pacing, its burning gaze fixing on her small form. Something passed between them, a moment of mutual recognition that made the other delegates shift uncomfortably. "The containment field is rated for," began the Velnari technician. The lights flickered. Warning klaxons began to wail. "Emergency. Containment breach. Level 7, announced the station's AI. "All personnel evacuate immediately." Chaos erupted in the observation chamber. The Kethmori, sensing freedom, slammed against the barrier with earth-shaking force. Hairline cracks appeared in the transparency. "Run!" Brutus bellowed, his massive frame already moving toward the exit. The other delegates followed, their previous dignity forgotten in the face of mortal terror. Elena didn't run. The barrier shattered, with a sound like thunder. The Kethmori burst through in an explosion of glass and metal shards, its roar filling the chamber with primal fury. It landed heavily, scanning for threats, for prey. Its eyes found Elena, still standing calmly in the center of the devastation. The creature advanced slowly, recognizing easy meat, its claws extended, each one the length of Elena's forearm. Drool dripped from fangs that could punch through armor plating. Every instinct screamed at Elena to flee, but she held her ground. The Kethmori lunged. Elena moved, not away, toward the creature. She dropped low, sliding under its massive swipe, her hands finding purchase on its scaled foreleg. The beast tried to shake her off, but Elena held on, using its own momentum to swing herself onto its back. What happened next would be debated in xenobiology circles for decades. Elena's seemingly fragile fingers found pressure points along the creature's spine that no scanning equipment had detected. She pressed with surgical precision, and the Kethmori's roar became a whimper. Her other hand found the base of its skull, applying pressure to neural clusters that shouldn't have been accessible through its armored hide. The creature, apex predator, of a death world, collapsed. Elena stood over the unconscious beast, not even breathing hard. She looked up to find the other delegates staring from the doorway, their faces masks of incomprehension. "How?" whispered Thexana. Elena smiled, the expression somehow more terrifying than the Kethmori's fangs. "You see our bodies as weak because you measure strength in armor thickness and bite force. But you've never lived on a world that actively tried to kill us every single day for millions of years." She gestured to the unconscious predator. "This creature evolved to be the perfect killer on its world, but humans evolved to be survivors on ours. We learned to read micro-expressions that meant the difference between cooperation and betrayal. We developed pressure sensitivity that could detect weaknesses in any opponent. We cultivated spatial awareness that kept us alive when stronger predators hunted us." Elena walked toward the exit, stepping over debris with casual grace. Every human child learns dozens of ways to incapacitate larger, stronger opponents. We call it martial arts, but it's really just applied evolution. We became the most dangerous thing on our planet, not because we were strong, but because we were smart enough to make strength irrelevant. The delegates parted before her like water. "The mining operation," Elena said as she reached the door, "will proceed as planned. Humanity will take point on Kepler 442b. We'll handle the Kethmori." 3 months later, the first shipment of rare earth elements arrived from Kepler 442b. The mining operation had not lost a single worker to the indigenous wildlife. The Kethmori, it turned out, responded remarkably well to human training techniques. In the Galactic Council chambers, the chair designated for humanity was no longer oversized. It was, the other delegates agreed, exactly the right size for beings who had turned fragility into the deadliest weapon in the galaxy. And when Ambassador Elena Rodriguez spoke, they listened.